Genesis principle number 9 uses Enoch's story in Genesis 5:21-24 to show that when people around us ignore or reject God's standards, the follower of God is still called to live in close, obedient fellowship with Him, to walk with God. Genesis 5 is primarily a genealogy. Each person lives, has children, and dies, but Enoch's entry is different. Twice, the text says that Enoch walked with God, and instead of "and he died," it says that God took him, indicating a special, direct transition into God's presence. Hebrews links this with faith. Enoch pleased God by trusting Him and seeking Him, even in a corrupt generation moving toward the evil that would bring the flood. Enoch's walk is not a single event, but a lifelong pattern, a way of life shaped by loyalty, obedience, and fellowship with God. He lived in a context where many did not honor God, but his relationship with the Lord set him apart in how he believed, behaved, and spoke. In the Bible, walking with God is a picture of how a person lives day by day, conduct, choices, attitudes, and relationships, all moving in step with God's character and will. It includes faith, trusting God's reality and His reward for those who seek Him, rather than living by sight or by the crowd's opinions. Obedience, aligning actions with God's commands, choosing His way over the broad, popular path of disobedience. Fellowship, treating God as a close companion, listening to His word, praying, and aiming to please Him in everything. Walking with God also implies separation from close partnership with those who practice evil. A person cannot walk in step with God and at the same time be shaped by a lifestyle that contradicts His ways. The principle, even though many people around us violate biblical values, we are to walk with God, applies to Enoch's story to believers today. It recognizes that culture often normalizes what God calls sin and mocks or sidelines His standards. Yet God's call does not change with the culture. His people are to live by His values: truth, purity, justice, mercy, love, even when this puts them in the minority. Practically, this means letting Scripture, not majority opinion, define right and wrong. Choosing daily habits that keep the heart close to God, prayer, word, obedience, rather than drifting with the surrounding moral current. Accepting the cost of being different, trusting that walking with God is better than walking comfortably with the crowd. Enoch's life assures believers that a faithful walk with God is possible in any generation, and that such a walk deeply pleases God, regardless of how many others reject His values.